Every story starts the same way. Welcome to another chapter brought to you by the creative mind behind Grizzly Collective, the place where art, hustle, and real life collide. If you're into sick designs, MMA vibes, football energy, or just pure graft, hit up Grizzly Collective 1com and use code for 10% off. Now let's get into it. It was a freezing Monday in mid-November, the kind where the sky looks permanently grey and the pavement still glistens from last night's rain. In a small flat just outside Bristol, a lad called Reese sat at the edge of his bed scrolling through his phone, feeling that familiar knot in his stomach. Not panic, just frustration layered from weeks of trying, pushing, grafting, and watching nothing move. He wasn't dramatic about it. He wasn't giving speeches or telling mates he was struggling. He just felt that quiet, heavy exhaustion that hits you when you've been putting effort in and the world hasn't clapped for it yet. He'd been building his little side hustle for months, custom designs, some clothing, some artwork, the odd commission. Sales had slowed to a crawl. Engagement on his page was basically on life support. And over the weekend, after staring at numbers that felt frozen in time, he'd nearly quit. Nearly. But he didn't. Something stopped him. Not inspiration, not motivation, not some dramatic moment, just a thought. What if I change one thing instead of everything? That Monday morning he decided to test it. No grand plans, no rebranding, just one small adjustment. He picked one product on his site, a design he always liked but never pushed properly, and reshot the photo. Better lighting, cleaner background, a simple mock-up that actually looked like something from a real brand. Then he rewrote the caption so it matched the vibe he wanted, confident, clear, simple. And for the first time in months, he tweaked the product page too. A tiny cleanup, a sharpened description, nothing dramatic. He posted it, closed the app, and got on with his day. By lunchtime, silence. By late afternoon, still nothing. By the evening, he shrugged it off and put the kettle on. Then his phone buzzed. One message, a simple, "Is this available in medium?" He replied straight away. They ordered. It wasn't a huge sale, but it was the first spark he'd seen in weeks. Reese didn't celebrate. He just nodded, sat back and thought, all right, maybe that worked. Next morning he woke up to 2 more messages, both from people asking about completely different products. That afternoon, another sale came through. By Thursday, traffic to his website had jumped harder than it had in months. And by Sunday night, when he checked his analytics, he realized he'd just had his best week since summer. But here's the wild twist. The customer who made that first sale messaged him again. They said they had been watching his page for ages, literally months, and wanted to buy something before but held off because something about the page felt unfinished. But when they saw the new photo, they thought, okay, this looks proper now. And they bought instantly. That one tiny improvement flipped the entire week, and Reese just sat there on that cold Sunday thinking about how close he had been to binning the whole thing. All it took was one change, not a miracle, not a viral moment, just a small decision to improve something instead of quitting everything. In the days that followed, he switched his whole mindset. Instead of trying to overhaul his brand in one giant push, he started tweaking one small thing every day. A better reel cover, cleaner product descriptions, sharper mock-ups, tidier pages, even better storytelling around his designs. And slowly, consistently, little by little, the momentum returned. Not fast, not flashy, but real. That's the thing people don't realize. Success doesn't usually come from huge dramatic leaps. It comes from quiet, almost invisible adjustments, the ones you barely think matter. Reese didn't change his whole life. He just changed one thing, and that one thing changed everything. So when Monday came around again, cold, sharp, unforgiving, he wasn't intimidated anymore. He stuck on his hoodie, stepped outside into the Bristol chill, and breathed out a cloud of steam like a man ready to build something brick by tiny brick. Because that's all momentum is, small wins stacked until they become an avalanche. And here's the truth he learned the hard way. The win always shows up right after the moment you almost gave up. If you're building something and feel like no one's watching, change one thing today. One small step, one small improvement. That's all it takes to restart the story. Thanks for sticking around for another chapter. If you want to support the journey and grab something sick, check out Grizzly Collective 1com and use code for 10% off. Stay grinding, stay growing, and I'll see you in the next story.